So Mel, lovely, fabulous to see you here in America. Not here in America, I'm here in Chester, you're over there in America. So do you want to just tell people a bit about you and what you do? That would be a great place to start.
Yeah, great. Yes, I'm Mel Carlen. I'm the VP of Operations here in Moneypenny, US. And what does that mean? That means heading up our US operation for all things from sales through to delivering wow for our clients.
Wow, wow indeed. And you haven't been doing that very long, have you, this role? You've only been out there a short while.
Yeah, so I've been out here since July, so it's just over 6 months. So some of it is still new and I'm still learning, but some of it I've really got to grips with. A different culture, but almost the same Moneypenny love.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. What I want to do, Mel, is tell people a little bit about your story, because we've known each other for a few years now, and I'd love people to hear a little bit about your career and where you were before you joined the WLA, and some of your experiences of being in the WLA and how you think it's helped shape your career and shape you as a leader would be good. So let's kick off. Perhaps before you joined the WLA and before you have this glamorous job in America, tell me what you were up to.
Well, I worked for Marks and Spencer's for 17 years, and I was a middle manager, and I loved my job. I loved the brand, but I think after that length of time you become a little bit stuck, and I'd probably become a little bit stuck in my career. I was a middle manager, and I was starting to feel a bit invisible. And I think the long tenure, the type of role that I was in, it was easy for me to allow myself to become invisible too.
Yeah, that's such a great phrase, actually, isn't it? That does happen so often, doesn't it? We just kind of go through and sometimes you sort of suddenly wake up and think, oh, what's going on? And remind me how you found out about the WLA.
So it was literally, we were looking for events locally, and it was at the Chester Grosvenor. What an amazing venue. And it was International Women's Day. It was a couple of years ago. It looked like a fantastic day out. So myself and a couple of colleagues decided that we would come along.
Oh, I'm so grateful that you were. They came along the day, weren't you? And you loved the day. I remember us having a really nice conversation. And then you decided to join, didn't you? So what were your original reasons for joining?
I think when I came to the actual day, it felt like there was a bit of a light going on. Being in a room with like-minded, inspiring women who were sharing their stories in such a collaborative way. It was inclusive, it felt quite empowering. So it was one of those things that actually put that against where I was feeling a little bit stuck in my career, to see this amazing array of inspirational ladies that were doing lots of fantastic stuff. I wanted to be part of it, and the WLA allowed me to be part of that. So it was really great for me to be able to join.
Yeah, I know, because there was the community is quite, lots of people like the community, don't they? That sometimes, I know a lot of women, I don't know if you're the same actually, but a lot of women do struggle with the idea of a women's network and a women's thing. And I personally, maybe I might say this because I run it, but I don't think we're like that, are we? I think we have something different.
No, not at all. And I would totally agree. I've gone through a career in quite a male-dominated areas. I've worked in IT, I've worked in commercial roles, and there's a lot of boys. So the idea of having women's only always felt a little bit wrong. However, it almost doesn't become a gender element with the community. It becomes like-minded leaders, really, talking about their story, talking about some of the challenges that we can't not acknowledge that as a woman we have different challenges as we go through our leadership roles. But it wasn't about gender, it was about inspiring stories and collaborating in the right way with people.
Yeah, I agree with that, I agree. So what have been some of the experiences you've had since you've been a member? You've been a member for a while now, and maybe some of the particular standouts for you. What's that been like?
So there's a couple of standouts for me. I think the community that you've built is amazing. And everybody is really, really happy to help. And that comes to life with some of the workshops and the events that are run. When I come to an event, I always come away totally refreshed and inspired, because it's those conversations, as well as the subject matter and the technical things that we start to learn. It's the community and the conversations around how can we make that happen. That's been really useful for me, because they're tools to then take away into real life.
Yeah.
The other one that stands out is the annual goal setting workshops. They're to me that have been so inspiring to help me really hone in what is it I want to do this year and how do I want to get there.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, we didn't do that one this year, funnily enough. We did a different one because we've done that event for a while, haven't we? But I think you're right. I think that and we're building in more of a program every quarter where we'll be doing that, because I think women quite often get overwhelmed, don't they, and lose sight of where am I in all of this, and what are some of my key drivers that I need to focus on. So yeah, I think it's an important one.
I think, though, in fairness, though, the skills that I've got from those, I still do a mind map every quarter. You'd be proud of me, Sandra.
I love that. And what would you say have been some of the, or perhaps the biggest benefit or the greatest result you've had from being a member of the WLA now?
If I'm honest, I think the biggest benefit for me has been helping me move away from managing to leading, and having the courage to actually make that step, and become more of a leader and hone my leadership skills, as opposed to just managing and being on task. It's helped me have more of a leadership purpose.
And if you don't mind me saying, I remember you phoning me probably about a year ago and saying, you're not going to believe it. And tell a little story about how you got to be in America, because I think it's fabulous.
So actually, from a Moneypenny point of view, we were going through some changes. We've got a large UK presence and we've got a smaller US presence, which was going through some leadership changes. And lots of people from the UK were supporting, and there was a rota in place. And there was a real desire to have more of a permanent leader in place in the US, someone who was really Moneypenny and who could really take us through the next few years. And if I'm honest, I put my hand up and said, I'd love to do it. Would I have done that several years ago? Gosh, no. But I think the journey that I've been on, and I will say the WLA has been so instrumental in that, gave me the courage to put my hand up and say, I'd love to do it.
I'll never forget you saying that. You know, I just realised my hand had gone up and I'm thinking, oh my God. Isn't it? To move out with your family, you've never worked overseas before, have you? And this is kind of lock, stock and barrel, the whole thing, and running the operation. It's just a massive
do you know what? When I think about it now, yes. But it's one of those things, and I think, again, some of the things that have been I've absorbed from the workshops is that if you start to overthink or overanalyze, then you've lost the moment. Sometimes you've just got to jump in.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Absolutely. I have to say that to myself still. You're overthinking, Sandra. Just get on with it. Oh. And how would you describe the WLA to a colleague or a friend who may or may not be considering joining? But what would you say?
Oh, well, for me, it's been life-changing, like you just said. But I would describe the WLA almost as your biggest challenger and your best friend, a combination of the two.
I love
that. They're people that will challenge you to be the best you can be, but they'll also support you if things don't go the way that you want them to. They'll be your biggest celebrating friends, and they'll raise a glass with you, but they'll also support you when things go wrong.
That's brilliant, really lovely. And is there anything else you would like to say or add?
Do you know what I think? I know the theme is better together.
That's right, yeah.
I'm a better leader because of my involvement with the WLA.
Oh, Mel, thank you ever so much. That's been brilliant. Appreciate your time. That's fab. And
okay, thank you.